commercial pilot license is a license offered by DGCA that allows students to act as a pilot in command of any aircraft and get paid for that. All the aviators aspiring to become a commercial pilot must learn thoroughly about CPL, CHPL certification process and their eligibility, medical criteria, scope of opportunities in outside world after transition. Lt Col Vikrant Parmar retired is a commercial pilot currently working in Global Vectra. I, Shaurya, on behalf of the Ladder podcast channel, welcome you all to this unique episode on commercial pilot career opportunities.
Sir, very good evening and warm welcome to the podcast channel, sir. It's a privilege to host a veteran like you.
Shaurya, good evening, yaar. It's my privilege to be hosted on your podcast. Really, it's really fine. I really hope to be of some help to my brother aviators and all the three defense forces from whatever little experience I have.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, to begin with the interview, how did the decision of transitioning from army to the corporate was well planned, and how you executed this, sir?
Some things I had planned and some things were fate, which came that way. That time, if we know army aviation is to take a NOC in army aviation is quite hard at times. So I was lucky to get into Navy, and in the Navy it is much easier and they facilitate, in fact, to make you leave, make your commercial helicopter pilot license be done, and in that case they help you out in terms of give you chances, give you NOC, and they even take it as a temporary duty when you go for your exams. Every 6 monthly returns which are filled, they, in fact, senior aviators, they have to fill that have they cleared their CHPL and the RTR exam or not. So Navy is quite friendly in that matter. They really look after their aviators in this term. That is while transitioning from military to civil. So that helped me out quite a bit. I was able to get my license there, and I got an NOC from there at that time. So it helped me out quite a bit.
So it is the preparation of 6 months or a 1 year in advance before the transition, sir?
No, I would say even longer. So if we take it, somebody wants to plan it, he should start planning it good about 2 years before. First thing is medical conditions. Bande ko apni medical, he should be clear. Sometimes what happens in all three forces, we get our medical done and we are not checked properly at that time. So it's called class 1 medical, which is required to clear. So a person can go earlier and get his class 1 medical done from these medical representatives who are cleared by DGCA. There are n number of them, like there is one Wing Commander Dalish, Wing Commander Arun Kumar, and many others in Delhi itself, if somebody is around Delhi. And the same kind of people are there in Mumbai, Pune, and you can find them one is there even in Chandigarh, in the Fortis Hospital, Dr. Kang, if I'm not wrong. So you can get your medical done just to check yourself that you're fine, you're meeting all the QRs, and all the medical is done based on whatever the DGCA requirements are there. All your checks, blood test, ECG, echo, and then once you've cleared your medicals, you're clear from that side, medical mera theek hai, then you start preparing. And according to me, the first and the most hardest paper to clear is the RTR, radio telephony. And for this, you don't actually require NOC. So I think even 4-5 years before you are planning, or even if you're not planning to leave, I think everybody should clear this paper. I had taken classes from Colonel Rajgopalan. He's a senior aviator from Army Aviation, from 6th Regiment, if I'm not wrong. And that, helped me out, and many others, many others. who were my postmates and otherwise also. A lot of aviators from all three services had taken classes from him, and he's quite meticulous in that and helps you out very well. So first important thing is to clear your RTR exam, which you can do at any stage of your service, because you don't require an NOC and you clear your RTR. It is lifelong. You just have to pay 10,000 rupees and lifelong the validity is there. And that is the toughest exam. So that is the one. After that, you come to your other written exams. Now the written exams are, one is the important nowadays, it has changed. We had navigation, which included radio aids and instruments, avionics and instruments in that only. Now everything is amalgamation of all the subjects, including MET. We were lucky not to be having MET. So there's a composite paper. So you have to prepare for that composite paper. And then after that, one is your rules of the air. That is not hard to prepare. It is easy. And the third one is specific to the aircraft which you are flying. So these are the three papers you have to prepare as a defense officer, which helps out quite a bit. We are not taking the load of a lot of other things, the AD paper, the aerodynamics paper and all. So you can do this within a period of 6 months or 8 months. After that, you have to, after clearing all these papers, you need to do your skill test. And once you're cleared with your skill test and medical, then you put up all your documents for the license at DGCA Delhi. And once they clear it, if there is no shortfall, your license comes through.
Great, sir. Can you tell us about the present role and the nature of job what you are performing in the Global Vectra Helicorp, sir?
See, any aviator who's leaving, especially Army aviators, I would say, will find a little bit of change in culture while leaving Forge and coming to civil setup. Civil ke andar thoda, it is totally different. Everybody has to fend for himself. Navy में और Air Force में, I would say, वो पहले they are quite थोड़े individual, उसके ऊपर they are based more, so it is not so much a transition for them. We are more based as teams in our units and our flight squadron. So थोड़ा सा transition के अंदर there is there to once you come on the CV street. After a few months, you will realize that this is a wonderful place. But I would still suggest that anybody who's planning to leave should always try to find out somebody like me or others. They should visit and see kya life hai. Now, life is one big. You are again separated from your home. That is a big thing. Matlab, out of 12 months, 8 months, you are still away from your home, and 4 months you are staying with your family. So you have to decide based on that, do you want to take this profession or do you want to take a job of this sort? जहाँ पे फिर वही separation वाली बात आ जाएगी. कई कंपनियां हैं जो they keep you at places. In fact, in our company also on offshore, you tend to get Bombay as this thing. अगर आप offshore flying कर रहे हैं तो उसके अंदर out of the 8 months, you tend to stay 4 months at least in Bombay. So the separation is just for 4 months. You will be sent into other places. So that way you end up staying with family for 8 months in a year. So ये चीज आपने जरूर देखनी है कि separation part is always there in this line of work. बहुत lucky होते हैं जो उसके बाद जिनको corporate flying मिल जाती है. And once these pilots who get corporate flying, their life is a bit better in terms of at least with family. But then वहाँ पे दूसरा वाला issue आ जाता है कि corporate के अंदर you never know when the company is going to sell off the helicopter, and the flying is very less, so you don't even meet your QR or your current flying requirements. Thirdly, एक ही मतलब the aircrafts are old, the maintenance and that part also you have to see. There is bigger companies are almost like where we are serving in Forge. There's a whole setup for years altogether, and things are running almost right. So in that matter, I can say companies like Global Vectra, Heligo, okay, Oasis, Himalayan, all these companies and many more, which are slightly bigger companies, they have a better setup to look after. So maybe that separation part cannot be looked after in these companies, but at least otherwise, aircraft wise and अगर आप बाकी देखें तो it is better.
Great, sir. So what are the opportunities available for an Army aviator in civil aviation industry?
For an Army aviator, if we per se say only for Army aviator, so today there is a big requirement of helicopter pilots. Okay, there's everybody's ready to grab, including my company, and especially so this happens when you are near elections, where their demand happens quite a bit, and now there's a glut because of the Chetak being removed from DGCA for giving skill test. तो उसके कारण काफी प्रॉब्लम आ रही है. So बाहर अभी बहुत डिमांड है for a army aviator, and in fact the pays and salaries have also increased good about 30-35% for this reason. They are ready to you require a license and you can come and join companies at quite well startups. I would say somewhere around 3.5, 3.75 easily, and even more.
Great. Sir, how do we compare the opportunities for a twin engine ALH pilot versus single engine Cheetah Chetak, Cheetah, like that, sir?
That is certainly there. ALH cleared. Aaj ki date mein, from what I know, is ALH is the only aircraft in the defense forces which is cleared by the DGCA for a license. Otherwise, you have to take your license. Pehle Chetak tha, so Chetak and Cheetah were there, but now they have removed that. So I've heard a rumor, I don't know how true it is, that the defense forces are trying again to get back Chetak and Cheetah. And that is also being done more than defense forces by the operators outside, the private operators, because of the glut in the market that there is no pilots available. So private companies also want that Cheetah comes back, licenses are given, and the pilots can come and join. So that is certainly there. ये वाला fact है, but ये otherwise ALH pilot is cleared on twin engine. He can do an ATPL straight away instead of doing a CHPL. And based on that, ATPL is always more in demand than in a CHPL pilot. And then you can straight away come to a twin engine. The pay per se, I won't say that there is any much difference between twin engine and single engine. In fact, single engine pilots, because of their risk and everything, earn more than twin engine pilots outside. But life is more comfortable on a twin engine, safety wise, and then you don't get the monotonous flying of like you must have heard Amarnath, Badrinath, Kedarnath, Vaishno Devi. There you are just doing shuttles up and down, which become a bit tough on you, and you have to do a number of landings a day, and you are the lone pilot in the aircraft. Army aviation also on single engines, we are flying twin pilot. So pilot and co-pilot. Here you are the single pilot and you are doing everything. So boredom can set in, mistakes can happen, and it is physically also it is tough on the body.
Sir, how much flying experience is required for an aviator to apply for CHPL in terms of flying hours as a pilot as well as co-pilot?
See, total flying hours, I think, is 1,000. Okay. And 500 certainly as PIC, pilot in command. But as we all know, the more the better. The more hours you can get more than this, the better. And I'm very sure with today's flying environment, I had come out with 2,800 hours as a normal pilot from the Army, Navy, and whatever I had done, all my postings. And everybody tends to get around 2,000 plus. And if you are making 1,000 hours as PIC, so almost all your requirements are ticked in that case.
Can you give the broad guidelines about the exam pattern conducted by DGCA, sir?
As I told you, you have to apply. First thing is you come and which I told initially, that RTR exam you have to apply. Now RTR exam is a communication this thing, so that has got no requirement of NOC. Then you have to take a computer number. For computer number, once you take, you require an NOC from your organization. So you have to submit the NOC, and based on that, you will be given a number. Now, based on that number, you have to apply online for your exams. Exams happen at a interval of every 3 months, every quarterly, until unless recently they have not changed. So you can keep on giving exams every 3 monthly. And the exams which I told you are these 3 exams only left after that. That is the rules of the air, specific to the aircraft which you have, which you are appearing for your skill test. And the third one is the composite exam, which includes navigation, your avionics, instruments, MET. All these 4 papers are together as a composite. And for that, I'll just, what books which are required to be studied is, which we used to do, the normal book is 1,000 questions by Keith Williams. You will get that for all the composite exam. And for only in that, we were not doing, MET. So MET के लिए भी एक book है, I'll just tell you. Okay, MET की book is by I.C. Joshi. You can also buy this I.C. Joshi's book for MET and Wing Commander R.K. Bali. Inki books हैं जो which you can utilize. Otherwise, if you have done that 1,000 questions by Keith Williams on navigation, on instruments, on avionics, so these are 3 books. You finish those 1,000 questions, so that amounts to almost 3,000 questions. There is no problem. You will clear these exams, and MET only you have to do otherwise. Or MET can be, what I have been told by others is, you should be able to do the questions behind each chapter. That is where you will find those questions being repeated again and again in the exams. Now, specific to your aircraft is, as of now, I can't think of how a single engine person can only clear is by virtue of doing his currency on 10 hours on one aircraft. That is, generally people go for Robinson 22 or Robinson 44 and then doing skill test on the same. So that is the problem right now. And Robinson 22 and 44 cleared the examiners. I think there's hardly anyone, or maybe one odd in India. So I guess you'll have to go outside. This is generally available in America and Hawaii also, and available in Australia. If there is any Robinson's examiner, I'll come back and let you know. You can put it down in the this thing in our country. That is where the problem comes for single engine pilots. For ALH pilots, there is no problem. And secondly, what has happened, all 2 services, that is Navy and Air Force, I'm very sure. I think Army is also clearing it. They are clearing people to give exams on ALH, because ALH is the only defense helicopter which they are allowing to do your skill test on. So for that, you have to go for your exam, currency maintenance on the aircraft, and this thing through simulator of ALH in Hats Off, Bangalore. So you have to do your hours there. So again, you can do that. And this side also, single engine can try to get ALH through doing this skill test and everything on the simulator. that is in hats off. वहाँ से फिर you'll have to take their time, everything, pay for that and do it. Last I know, my course mates who had done on Chetak itself, because he never came back to Army Aviation, had to spend around 16 lakhs. I think that was 5 years ago, 5-6 years ago. Now, today, I think it will be certainly much more. So that amount you have to invest towards moving out.
Okay, sir. Is there any exam validity for this, sir, once the individual clears these exams?
Any exam cleared is valid for 5 years. Whatever, like navigation you clear now, but you have not cleared your radio, rules of the year. So you give it after 3 months, or give it after 6 months, or give it after 1 year. So your navigation will now be valid for correction, this composite exam. Navigation hamare time hota tha, it's coming out of my mouth that way. The composite exam which you clear will be valid for 5 years. Same way, you clear the next exam, from that day onwards, it will be cleared for 5 years. All the exams are online. You have to go to a center and appear on a computer. And within no time, you generally come. As you finish the exam, you know you are passed.
Can you tell the cost of each exam, sir?
It's very, very cheap, 2,000 rupees. Through DGCA site, you have to deposit the money. You don't have to go anywhere. Just fill it on the DGCA site and pay for the exam. Whatever exams you take, according to that, down below it will come. You're giving all 3 exams, so it will be 6,000. So according to that, you pay there and then appear. You only choose the center where you have to go for the exams. Like I chose Hyderabad and once I had chosen Calcutta. So I also cleared my exams in 2 attempts. That time navigation. So there is nothing of that sort. You can take any number of attempts you want, but generally 1-2 attempts you tend to clear it. And the main exam out of this is, as I told you, the composite exam, which includes navigation and all subjects. Others, so it's not that hard. 1 week of studies and that's it. For specific to your aircraft, maybe even less than that, 2 or 3 days of studies. Just remembering the data and everything so as to give that exam.
Sir, please reiterate the good institutes or the organization to pursue these exams from.
Institutes to pursue these exams, there are none. Aisa koi institute nahi hai. In fact, the most important thing all out of this is the exams preparation. Like I told you, all the books which are required. Now, I would suggest to any senior aviator, because we are out of touch of all these exams. So, like I did in Navy, they can also do. Have 1 or 2 younger aviators. Matlab unki help leke you can start practicing 1-2 hours. Jaise we prepare for the GB or air caps, or as it is called AB in Air Force. Just start preparing for these exams so that you'll find that youngsters are very good at mathematics and especially navigations, few of them. So unki help li ja sakti hai. Aap practice karo. Sari basic jo toughest which I could find in all this was the navigation part. So you require to do a lot of questions and practice mathematics. Jitni practice karoge utna acha rahega. There's a set of formulae which anybody can ask me also. I'll share it. Those formulas you have to remember, and based on that only you have to generally do all the numericals. So if you are able to do that, then there is rest is all learning. वो तो हमने वैसे भी फौज में किया हुआ है. Metrology and avionics instruments, all they are the same. वही same instruments हैं. PSI, VSI, सारे करते करते till ILS. You keep on going, and same is almost the case of your avionics also. Wave theory, same things. उसमें भी थोड़े numericals हैं which require practice, and these all numericals you will get out of that book I told, Keith Williams. People tend to over prepare by going to Oxford books also. You can do that also. Oxford ki bhi hai. And a lot of these books are available in soft copies if you don't want to buy them. But I would suggest these 2-3 books of Keith Williams, 1000 Questions, you should have a copy with you, because it makes it easier, to open and utilize that. Secondly, RTR, which I told any aviator at any age, 2 years, 3 years of service, should prepare this. Here you require guidance. Matlab, jo RT calls which we give in the defense forces are not the ones which are standardized and which are given in the CV flying outside. So for that, the RTR exam is given. This RTR exam does not require any NOC. And once you give this exam, this is lifetime, which I told you before. For that, you require preparation, like I told you, Kalraj Gopal, and there are many other people who are also helping on these exams. One from the Air Force is also there. I'm not remembering his name. So you can join with anybody of them. And Kalraj Gopalan's number I still have. He must be conducting classes. They are for about 15 days classes, and they are generally late in the evening. So I also did it during my service. There is no issue. You can do those 12 or 15 classes. They are recorded, and you can keep practicing it. I took twice to get through RTR. Some people take 3 times. Some people are lucky to get it first time also. Some people have taken 4, 5 times. Okay. So it is nothing great case somebody is good or bad at that. But it's just luck. The kind of examiner you get, the way your paper has gone through. So there's nothing to be taken to heart, and you can do that. I think a person should, before leaving, if he plans to do this, he should start at the onset only. When the thing comes to his mind that he wishes to, join the civil flying.
Okay, sir. What are the invariable advantages available for the Armed Forces aviator with respect to their previous flying experience, sir?
सबसे पहले तो papers में ही है. You are doing 2 very, very tough papers. You are not appearing for them, which are quite tough. मतलब an helicopter pilot needs to learn all about what do you call this thing, fixed wing also, and उसके बारे में you'll have to do all the aerodynamics. वो वाला paper defense forces do not have to give. And now to this composite paper is there. These 2 papers are less, number one. Secondly, once you join later on, if you are a QFI in the forge, so you just have to appear once, and straight away you become a QFI in the TRI, कहते हैं उसे, type rated instructor in the CV. You don't have to go undergo 1 or 1.5 years of first becoming a check aviator, check pilot, then undergoing Y number of hours of training or checking, and then becoming an instructor. So there, again, you get the advantage of this thing.
Can you compare the
two major I would say benefits which facilitate in civil flying? First is in your exams, and second is once you are able to clear exams, you join a civil company, you are an instructor in forge, so that also helps out outside. Thirdly, obviously your hours and experiences are counted. Everybody's looking forward to having so much of experience. So that is there. Just civil pilots, like in my company, in my stream only, we have 4 civilian pilots, and let me tell you, they are very good. There is nothing going, but they have to build up that experience over the years. We already have that experience when we joined, and the kind of flying which we have done, hill flying, and the going in different kinds of terrain, so that comes really handy later
on. Can you compare the opportunities available in private sector to the government sector, sir?
Government तो दोस्त अभी कुछ बचा ही नहीं है. Only Pawan answers the public sector company, which nobody is joining nowadays. Everybody is leaving. There's a talk going of it being sold out by the government, and it should be also. So when that happens, so all the companies will be private. I'm talking about the helicopter, this thing only. In fixed wing, again, I don't see Air India is also sold out to Tata, so there is no government company which is left out. There's nothing left in that understanding. So
Okay, sir.
all are private only.
Okay, sir. What are the growth opportunities available in the private sector, sir?
The growth opportunities for a pilot, let me tell you, is that the biggest advantage is he can fly till 65 years if he's in twin engine. If he's in single engine, he can fly till 60. So the growth is in terms of your pay. Generally, the only other growth you can imagine is in terms of you becoming an instructor there, and the company, as per their pay scales, giving you more pay being an instructor. So same way, like in Forge, the bit of responsibility on the instructor becomes more. He has to keep on going and conducting exams wherever the company, the progress checks, proficiency checks, as we call, at different places, train and skill the new pilots. So that part he has to undertake more than a normal pilot who's just flying. And for that, he's, as per the company policies, different company, they pay him more. So that is the only two ways which you can, and the growth systems are different in different companies. Some companies pay you based on loyalty, that you've worked with them for 3 years, so you'll get some loyalty increase. Then you have done X number of hours flying, then you will get some more money. Okay, so based on that, your pay keeps on increasing from time to time. It is more based on loyalties in different companies are based on generally on hours, and in my company, even on how many years you have served. So you keep on getting a little bit more in that. Otherwise, there is no growth. Otherwise, कि कोई और चीज आपको मिलेगी. This is the only growth which is there. You have to the work, service conditions, everything are the same for a person who's joined at, let's say, 35 years to a person who's 63, 64 years. They are staying in the same place, same hotel, same work. One is the pilot, the other one is the co-pilot, and doing the same work. So no privileges per se. That who's signing for the aircraft is responsible.
Okay, sir. What are the average CTC offered to a pilot who is leaving after short service of 14 years and to the PMR officer leaving after 20 years of service, sir?
Both same. Okay, I just told you it is, the lowest you can think today is around 3.75 lakhs per month. So this is a golden period as of now to join, come out and join. Maybe for the next 6-8 months, the CV street. And once these rates have been set, I don't think they are going to change until unless we have one more COVID. COVID, all companies had reduced their pace quite a bit, and everybody had to take the jolt of that. But otherwise, I don't think there'll be any change. So 3.75, you can just put it that way, yearly, how much it'll come out to be. It'll be around 40-45 lakhs. Around 40 plus, 40-42. So that is your gross. Then after that, obviously, there'll be cuts on that, tax cuts. And like my company also gives, like we have DSOP, so EPFO is there, Employees Provident Fund here also. So you can put your money in that also. So that is how it goes.
Sir, how can someone shift to fixed wing, and what are the training or measures that he should undergo before shifting to fixed wing?
See, I'm aware of 2-3 Army aviators. One who on his onset only. There's no two ways. He's Colonel BK Singh. He's flying in Indigo. He straight away from helicopters, he shifted to fixed wing. In fact, I was also the one who used to tell him, fixed wing kar lo, because it was better at that time, and he's the biggest thing in fixed wing, moving to fixed wing, is that you tend to generally stay with your family and at one place. You are going out, staying overnight out is just 1 odd day in a week, or maybe 2 days, but rest of the days you are coming back to your home. So that is the big plus in fixed wing. Secondly, initially the pay scales are as good as ours or slightly less, but after that there's a huge jump. You can say that even fixed wing pilots are there that go after 10, 15, 10, 12 years, they reach a level of 10 plus per month. So you can imagine how much their CTC will be. So that is there. In this case, I would only give my suggestion, maybe not even suggestion, a submission, that whatever I have seen in my 5.5 years of flying in the civil, it is better for younger aviators to go for fixed wing. And there's a huge demand which is coming up for that. You know, almost 1,000 aircrafts have been ordered in our country by Tatas, Indigos, Akasa Airway, and others also. And there's a huge opportunity there. And then you will be able to stay at a fixed place. And again, you'll be able to fly till 65 years, medically fit. So there's a better opportunity there. For senior pilots, I would suggest changing over and putting that amount of corpus into learning fixed wing is a bit hard and tough. Though pilots around 50 have done it, they can do that. But people above 50, I would suggest, should stick to helicopters. In my own company, a lot of pilots have come after superannuation, and I know them, Air Force, Army, Navy, naval pilots also. And just imagine that they have come after 54 years serving in force, and then now they're taking proper pension, come under OROP, and now till 65 they can fly here. So that is my submission or recommendation, whatever you say, that comparatively younger pilots around 45 and below should go in for fixed wing. Fixed wing is certainly in the long run is better and more comfortable.
How is the general job profile to flying commitment in the private aviation sector as compared to the armed forces life, sir?
This is quite a good question, I would say. Army, we just fly. Okay, we tend to, if we get 45 minutes or 1 hour or 1 hour plus 40 in a day, so we are like, balle balle, bahut flying hui hamari aaj, hai na? So that is not in the civil. You tend to, fly 500 hours in a year, or maybe a year plus. And if you are in single engine, you even tend to finish more than 500 hours in a year. So flying outside it is just flying. Okay, but you get on the aircraft and then you're flying for 4-5 hours. Refueling obviously there, so your stops in between. But 5 hours, 5.5 hours, 6 hours is common. Now only less flying happens is like I'm presently in Itanagar. So due to weather, you cannot fly. That is the reason. But otherwise, every day almost 5 hours, 4.5 to 5 hours are planned. So you end up reaching around 80-90 hours in a month easily. So flying is quite a bit. Offshore flying again, they're even in slightly bad weather also you'll be flying, because you've got a twin engine. You'll be the aircraft has got automatic flight control systems, so you may have to fly through rain, through less visibility also. There also flying will happen almost 80% of the days. Only few days when weather is really bad, you may not fly there. So that kind of flying is there. Flying commitments are quite much more. 500 hours we used to do in 3 years of posting in the forge. So that you end up doing in a year easily. So physical requirements or physical, I would say it is more on your body now. It takes a toll on your body. The flying is there.
Do you think distance oblique online MBA will help the aviator who is planning to pursue those qualifications in private aviation industry, sir?
Like, see, until you are planning to be somewhere in the managerial this thing, it has got no meaning. There are a lot of people who have done it and come and been here. It has not turned out of any consequence to them. I would suggest better is to do something in which is related to flying, like flight safety course. Like there is a flight, there's one, I think, aircraft management course also. The courses of this sort, if you do, that is better. That will give you at least some place later on if you wish to get into the administration part of a company. So that will get you, because you'll realize outside also maximum companies are being managed by aviators only. Either they are from the Air Force, Navy or Army. They are being managed by the aviators. So there, if you have more knowledge about aviation law or this thing, that will certainly help you. I would suggest only courses related to aviation. MBA per se will not help if you intend on doing this thing. But yes, as a standby, if you wish to do it, कि कल को नहीं ये नहीं पसंद आया कहीं और जाना है तो मेरे पास MBA का ठप्पा है, that kind of a thing, then certainly do it. Especially जो फौज वाली वो 6 months वाली होती, you can do that.
Any last word of advice you would like to give for the officers under transition, sir?
Yes, I've given whatever little I know or experienced in so many years. The only advice I need to advise to whatever person to person, it is just that there is a cultural change. And especially so Army walon ko, we are brought up in a very nice culture, and I've seen Navy also. Navy is a bit more corporate type culture. Wahan they are used to a little this thing. Once you come to civil life, it is you really need to bend down. Okay, civilians will be there, others will be there. You have to change your tone. You have to, you may find a civil pilot. You may think that this chap knows much less than us, but has by virtue of him joining the company earlier, he's become senior. So that kind of prejudice you don't need to keep. You will realize everybody is qualified enough, and few things you have to take with a pinch of salt. ठीक है, that वो जो हम कहते हैं थोड़ी ऑफिसरी खत्म हो जाती है, so that part is there, but that transition happens naturally very soon. It's just a bit of advice to everybody कि वो चीज you should be ready for that. That's all. Otherwise it is nothing. Today I'm not saying कि see the pays per se. If you see today the CTC which you were talking about, if you are a lieutenant colonel or a colonel in the army, it's almost the same. 3 ke aspas, everybody is getting. Plus all the facilities, if you count in Forge and the peace of mind and otherwise the facilities you get, the support you get, which you will not get anything outside. So it counts to much, much more. Evening, if you want to play golf and things like that, that will be now curtailed. You can only go and play whenever aapki chutti ho. Like you are here in where I am, the only thing you can expect maximum is a gym, not even a badminton game or anything of that sort. You want to play that side, that kind of thing. So you have to basically be flexible in your mind to change yourself for that. Otherwise, certainly stress levels जो फौज के शाम के होते हैं कि next day you have to prepare this that. Here the only stress level is to prepare for your sortie next day and be safe in flying. टास्क करना है और मतलब टास्क हो जो भी करना है, फ्लाइट सेफ्टी का ध्यान रखना अपना, वापस you have to land back safely. That is all. There is nothing else to it. You don't need to get into any kind of koi bhi requirements nahi hai. You don't need to be worried about anybody else. It's just you, your co-pilot, and the pilot or co-pilot. I mean, that's all. It's nothing else. So before joining, now one should just visit somebody or talk to somebody and see के life क्या है. Sometimes people have been asking me, तो मैं कहता हूँ यार होटल के अंदर साथ वाला बेड खाली 2-4 दिन आके साथ रह के देख ले. How do you feel at the end of the day? Would you like to live this life, or would you like to continue for a little longer in Forge? After superannuation, so everybody should join, I would say. But joining earlier, premature, and joining here, that is what I'm talking about. You should be ready for this. And stress levels certainly are less. After a few days, you will realize that stress is not there. You don't have to bang your head anywhere much. So that way, civil is better.
Thank you so much for your valuable insights, sir. I'm sure your experience and the guidance will be helpful for all the aviators.
It was a privilege being on your podcast, Shaurya. I hope I have been able to give some little knowledge which I had, and it is helpful to all brother aviators. And any help also required by anybody else, certainly let me know.
Absolutely, sir.
Thank you, Shaurya. Thank you for having me on your show.